My mother touched my hair and said, "Doesn't her hair look pretty? She used my shampoo." And I just was like,
my mum the
brutal.
other day went, "Your hair always used to be so much shinier than it is now."
This is an intense drama. It is called Pieces of a Woman, starring Vanessa Kirby, who's been getting a lot of buzz lately for her role in this film. In fact, at the Venice Film Festival, she took home Best Actress honors, well deserved, because she's incredible and has not given birth herself. So when you see the 22-minute, very intense birthing scene, it's even more incredible what she managed to pull off. Ellen Burstyn, the legend, stars as her overbearing mother. It's about mothers and daughters. It's about grief. It's Pieces of a Woman. And I zoomed with two of the main stars. What an absolute pleasure. First of all, I have to be completely honest with you. Knowing what was happening in the movie, obviously, beforehand, there was a part of me that didn't know if I could make it through and thought maybe I should just fast forward part of this. And then I realized what a disservice I would be doing to myself and obviously the filmmakers. Why do you think, and I'll start with you, Vanessa, why is it so important that we go through that scene the way you all chose to do it, to understand what's happening here?
Yeah, well, I think we all were just, at the very beginning, we suddenly felt that it was so essential for the audience to be completely with Martha, experiencing the ups and downs, the whole like unbelievable journey of the birth, any birth, and then also to feel the loss of that then is throughout the whole rest of the movie. And I think we felt if we didn't get that right, then you wouldn't feel the aftermath in the way that you did. And that felt so important, because I really quickly realized in kind of beginning research and then spending a lot of time with women who had gone through a loss like that, I realized how common it is and how little people speak about it. And then it felt even more important to get the birth right, because we wanted to have it, really wanted it to be a very experiential, emotional experience watching it. And I know it's really difficult, but it is difficult. It's a difficult subject matter. And the more we speak about it, I think the easier it will be for people to feel like they can ask for support or help, or just be able to speak about it, really.
Yeah, and that they're not alone. I know, Ellen, you're not in that scene, but when you first saw it for the first time, your reaction?
Well, I saw a rough cut. It was arranged by Vanessa's manager. My son happened to be visiting me that day, so I took him with me. So it was just the three of us in the movie theater. Wow. And about halfway through that scene, the birth scene, my son said to me, "It's really hard to keep on sitting here."
Right.
I was just so impressed. I was so impressed with Vanessa's work and the camera work and Cornell's conception of the scene. And then when the title of the movie came up afterwards, I was like, oh my God, this was the preview? This is the introduction? What is the rest of the movie going to be? I couldn't have been more impressed and more happy to then be in whatever was going to follow.
Well, what's interesting is it definitely does set you up, but it's nonetheless heartbreaking in many ways throughout. I mean, that's obviously the most visceral thing that we have to go through. But the scenes with the two of you, and Vanessa, I don't know what your relationship is like with your mom, but even the parts where Ellen looks at you, kind of touches your hair, "Can I offer you a brush?" I cringed, because what girl can't relate to some of that? Oh, I mean, I don't know what your relationship was like with your mom, but could you relate to some of the aspects of that?
Yeah, I think it's the mother-daughter thing is so interesting, isn't it? And it was such a pleasure to explore it. And yet there's a line straight after that where she says something like, "Well, you could have dressed a little bit more fancy." And in my head, I was like, just go away.
Right.
But, you know, my mum's absolutely incredible. But we've all experienced times when you just get so irritated or you don't, you know, and I think a lot of it is because sometimes there's just expectations generally to you know, do your parents proud or be a certain way, you know. And I think Martha's journey for me was so interesting because it was her version of finding her own voice, you know, and finding her own voice, and then in her doing that, in her kind of separating, you know, from her mother's, what her mother needed her and wanted her to be, to go to a trial to prosecute this woman and to bring her down for some kind of compensation. And she finds her own way of saying, no, that's not how I want to do it. This is who I am. I'm going to stand up here in front of you and many strangers in a room and speak my truth, and having found my voice. And then there's healing between them. And in fact, you know, it was a good testament really to find your own way, find who you are outside of anyone, any family relationship, any expectation in society, especially as a woman, and, you know, find your own voice. And within that, yeah.
Ellen, what made me happy was knowing that apparently you had a pajama party before all of this and got to bond with. I was like, oh, thank goodness that she at least did that. Is that true?
Yes, it is. I wouldn't call it a pajama party. It was more like a sleepover. I think I have called it a pajama party in the past, but I want to rephrase that. It was a sleepover.
It was a kind of party though.
Yeah,
the best time ever. We had our own thing.
I'm glad you mentioned that thing about the hair. Well, I don't know what it is with mothers and hair, but I remember I was doing a summer stock play, and my mother came to visit, and I borrowed her shampoo. And that night at dinner after the performance, we were with other people, and my mother touched my hair and said, "Doesn't her hair look pretty? She used my shampoo." And I just was like, furious.
My mum the other day went, "Your hair always used to be so much shinier than it is now."
Well, then she'll be disappointed with how it is in the film, but she'll be dazzled by the performance. Congratulations. Get ready for those Oscar speeches. I know, Ellen, you talked about writing one when you were 7. Get ready to do another. And happy birthday. I know it was about a week or so ago. What a pleasure this has been.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Take care.
Bye, Tara.